Hello, everyone. Welcome to Foreign Football Podcast. This is Harris Famitso, one of your hosts, with my co-host, Mr. Patrick Monaghan, the man and only Patrick. How you doing, my friend?
Excellent. Thank you. Another great day, another interesting day, and yeah, just another great day. Just happy to be here, happy to chat football. It's been an interesting week.
You already know. You already know, man. February 23rd, 2021. We don't have a lot of these days. This is the fourth Tuesday of the month. It's a great day. It's a great day. So, Patrick, tell me, have you watched all the Champions League game? A lot of activities. Champions League is back around 16. There are pretty beautiful games this today and last week as well. What are your thoughts on them?
So today, we had Bayern 4-1 against Lazio. Not too much of a surprise over there. 1-0 Chelsea
I mean,
against
wait. But 4-1 though, that's
4-1.
and they're
Okay,
playing in Stadio Olimpico as well. They're playing in Roma.
I'll say this: the score line is a surprise, but maybe not a surprise that Bayern won. Although Lazio is a good squad, actually, to their credit. So I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna say that I thought Lazio would win, but 4-1 is surprising. Then we got
I did not expect 4-1 at least, but yeah, but
no.
that confirmed that Bayern, when they're in Champions League, they bring the beast mode out.
The thing about Bayern is they bring such a different mentality in the Champions League. It's the level of intensity. It just goes like to the 99th degree. It goes to the highest level. You see them and that level of concentration, that level of focus. They're playing like a club on not only on a mission, but they're playing tenacious. They're going to be very, very, very difficult to beat. And especially with other sides that maybe kind of were looking good, but and maybe had some level of ferociousness, but not playing as well. You got Chelsea 1-0 against Atletico. You have Porto 2-1 against Juve. Dortmund 3-2 Sevilla. 4-1 PSG over Barca, and 2-0 Liverpool over Leipzig. There's a couple of matches that I know that really caught my eye. Harris, I don't know if you want to discuss this first or if you want to go or how you want to do it, but I know there's a game that you really want to discuss.
Of
I think
course, you
we
already
all
know.
know.
You already know. I mean, Paris against Barcelona. You have to you have to sit up and admire El Maestro, Kylian Mbappe. 3 goals at Camp Nou. It doesn't happen every time. I'm sure if you had fans in the stadium, he would have stood up and clapped. Standing ovation. I mean, he really stepped up. You have to admit and take into consideration that Neymar was not playing. Obviously, Paris has lost against Barcelona very badly. Man, it's been times are flying now. I think it's over 5 years ago. It was 2016, 6-1. I mean, they will never forget that. It's this big injury that Paris needed to heal and to overcome it in such a fashion in Barcelona. Congrats to them. Of course, we still have the second leg that will be in Paris. That will determine how well they will do. But that performance against Barcelona, we say in French, chapeau. So, so that was my take on that.
Chapeau. I have to agree. I
Yeah,
mean, the way I was thinking about it like this, when I was watching it, I was thinking Paris, but it's the score line to me is what comes off. And I think that if people didn't already know, this is a PSG side that is determined. And I think maybe last year there was questions of, okay, yeah, they did great, but are they going to be able to sustain it? And to me, I think they're answering those haters, and I think they're answering the questions now. And what my question is there a chance for Barca coming back? We've seen Barca in the past be able to come back from deficits. I don't think so, but I think you have to look at it and say this is a PSG side that outside of Bayern, in my eyes, I think that they're one of the front runners, especially with okay, I know they beat Leipzig, but I don't think Liverpool is going to be much of a contender. Juventus is struggling
No,
both in league. Juventus is struggling both in Serie A and then not to be disrespectful, but 2-1 against Porto. But Porto is a
and in
different
Champions
animal in
League too.
Champions League. That's the thing,
And
though. And then Dortmund even three to
they
two.
are, but but they're not as good as they used to be.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it's not like Porto was as great as they used to be. So losing for Juve to lose 2-1 against Porto just show how Juve is struggling this year. I think they could have get a draw, but it's putting Porto. Of course, they score a goal away, which count twice, but Porto can just go to Juve and relax a little bit because we're still having the lead. This is forcing Juve to score at home, which is and to your point, they haven't been playing very well.
What do you
So
think is the background behind that? Like, if you're Juventus going in, is do you think that there's pressure weighing from the fact that playing very poorly in Calcio, does that play an effect going into the Champions League of kind of thinking we've been
it,
playing
it
poorly, is this is kind of something we have to focus on? And I didn't see that level of focus when I was watching them. To me, I don't
correct.
think that they have the tenacity.
No, it does. They're struggling overall. Even Ronaldo is not scoring as much goal as before. He scored this past weekend. However, I would say they have the team. They have a new coach. It's a lot of changes. Some players that are injured, and that doesn't take the credit away from Porto. But Juve is struggling, and they can potentially lose. So that's a struggle you're facing.
And then, as somebody like them is playing poorly, then I think the thing that caught my eye was today seeing Chelsea going against Atletico, get 1-0, and I'm sorry to fan out, but what a beautiful, a beautiful goal today by Giroud. Giroud is one of those players that's always been kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, undervalued. And I think today, when I'm looking at somebody like him and I'm seeing the way that he performs, I don't know. I'm kind of questioning it. I'm seeing the way Chelsea's doing, and they're doing really well. You get a great goal like that, and then the other side, the one match I think that was to me probably the best match of them all, not the one that fans get excited about, but as a La Liga fan, the Sevilla Dortmund game. I mean, whoo, Dort Dortmund's a different animal. Recent in the Champions League, at least with Haaland, Sancho. I mean, man, they're tough to beat because Sevilla's to me. I wonder what you think about this, but I think Sevilla is a type of club not good enough for the Champions League, but when you put them in Europa League, they're machines. We've seen that before. We've seen their performance in the past. I believe it was 3 straight Europa League titles. I think they're very good in Europa League, but Champions League, I think Dortmund's better. I think Dortmund's a team that's a proven talent and knows what to do. But oof, sheesh.
Yeah, I agree. They won. Dortmund has a proven track record in the Champions League, where Sevilla do have it, but only in Europa League, right? They're beast in Europa League. But it was a fairly good game.
It
I
was.
think Dortmund just proved it again that they have the beast mode with them. Like Haaland, man, that kid is something. And that goal he scored, that kick with the left foot, oh, was such a beauty, such a beauty. So yeah, no, I think it was a fairly good game. I would say two teams on average, or it was a pretty good matchup overall. Dortmund came back on the top with the experience and the young talent they have. I thought Sevilla could have done better because we're playing at home. So it'll be interesting to see the second leg. To be honest, I still see this game very open, not like you, but of course, Dortmund has an edge. However, I see it going 50-50. Sevilla can go to Dortmund and win it. Right. So
They
it'll be a
can,
very interesting game.
what do you think is Sevilla's perspective going into it? You look at it and it's 3-2,
You have
but
to
it
win.
doesn't take much. Yeah, you have to
You have
win,
to win. I mean, there's like, you have to win.
but I think this is where the not having fans can be a true benefit and an advantage for a side like Sevilla is going in and then not having to play and not having to go against BVB Army. I mean, there is a benefit.
Absolutely.
Again, I if it was me and I'm Sevilla, I would feel confident about the side going in, especially when you look at um, what's the name of it? The striker they have. What's his name? Ben Yedder, I believe is the. I forget the one they have, but the
No, no, that's not Ben Yedder. Ben
not
Yedder is playing for Monaco now.
um
So that's not Ben Yedder. I don't remember the strikers though,
I
but
forget the name, but they have a really really fantastic striker, Nasri, I believe. He's Moroccan or something. But anyways, they have a very good side. Um, and I think the only other matchup to me that was a little surprising, Liverpool 2-0 against Leipzig, considering a horrendous, horrendous form in the league. We're looking at 4 consecutive losses, which is the first time since 1923. And they also lost Everton the Merseyside Derby. They at least got a little bit of a bright spot against Leipzig, but oof, talk about
yeah,
how the champions fall, man.
I
Sheesh.
well, I would not say horrendous like you. I think you may overcritical on Liverpool. The circumstances play in their favor. A lot of players are injured. I mean, their whole defensive back line is gone. They still have the backs. Robertson is still there, and Alexander Arnold still there. But overall, I mean, everyone is injured. So that put them in a big struggle. The game against Man City was not that bad of a game. Unfortunately, Allison had did those two mistakes that cost them, which was unfortunate. But I felt like they came into the game well. And then yeah, after that they kind of flounder a little bit. They did flounder. They lost again. Leicester has been poor. That game in the Champions League though was convincing. They won 2-0. Their striker looked very sharp. And then we come into a game this weekend and Liverpool lose. So it's tough. Man, Henderson got injured, so he had to leave the field. So it's tough on the reigning champion. But I see Liverpool at least going to the quarterfinal. I see them going to the quarterfinal, and things change very quickly. I mean, the one thing about football is momentum plays a big role. Every sports, right? But I think football and basketball especially are, just relate to that well. The momentum is very effective. And if the momentum change for Liverpool, again, their striker come back very sharp, because the striker team is still around. They can overturn a lot of things. I don't see them catching up with Man City, that's for sure. Man City is a trend, man. When they start taking off, you can catch up. So I don't see them catching up with Man City. But let's see, they're struggling. It's tough. Klopp has to pull something. I think he needs to stop blaming his putting on the injuries and start being more creative instead of being pessimist every time. I think they can bounce back to be and finish in the top three, but he has to pull up something very quickly. What are your perspective on it? What are your thoughts?
I agree in the sense of I think it's been too critical. I don't think there's been enough understanding. We kind of hold it at the regard of, okay, this is the defending champion, so the automatic assumption is you're going to be at your highest level and you're going to be performing and almost cruising, right? But the amount of injuries they've had this year has been astonishing. And I mean, you tell me losing Van Dyke And you tell me that you can't go and that's not going to affect you. You're going to be able to drop points from that. I mean, I don't understand how fans can be, and not even just fans, but the media can be so critical when, for all things said and done, okay, they played poorly, but we also didn't expect someone like Man City to get 18 wins in a row. You know, we saw Chelsea and Tottenham playing really well before Tottenham dropped points. It's it's like, okay, you want to go and say that you're surprised and then Liverpool should be at this level. How are you going to be able to be maintaining top position in arguably the most competitive league in the world when you have a rash of injuries? And also, not even just injuries, but then say somebody gets COVID or there's something like that. Boom, that's another person taken out. So even for an extremely deep side like Liverpool, it's just impossible to overcome. Now, again, I think if we look at it traditionally, they will probably finish in the top four. The reason I say that is you have West Ham is currently fourth, you have Leicester third. I think this. I think you're going to still see Leicester. You're still going to see City, but I do think Liverpool is going to be able to creep into who knows what position. Maybe it'll be third, and Leicester creeps up to second, and then maybe they'll get in. Liverpool gets in third or fourth, but this is too deep a Liverpool side not to finish top four. And the other thing is underestimating the aspect of having been in recent seasons a Champions League winner and a Premier League winner. I do agree that Klopp needs to be more creative, but maybe in that sense, the kind of tribe sort of tactics, maybe that's something that's going to help him towards the long, I don't say long run, but maybe towards the end of the season. So I'm thinking this. I think top four and yeah, I'd say quarterfinals, maybe semifinals, depending on who the matchup is. But again, I think I don't want to say I don't want to say I think City has it in the bag because I said I thought Liverpool had it in
City
the bag.
has it. They has it in the
I
bag.
know, but I
City
say
has it in the
they
bag.
have it in the bag, but it's just I said it in the past, and then I had my cake and I had to eat it too.
When did you
So
say City had it in the bag
no, I
and
didn't say
they
City
lost?
had it in the bag. I said, "Oh, I'm pretty confident that Liverpool's going to win the league." As soon as I said that, subsequently,
And who passed
every
them?
single every single injury happened, and so
Yeah, but that's I mean, as soon as you say that, the only team that passed them is probably City, right? Okay, if you look at it, maybe you say this year, that was this year. So
yeah,
when City passed it, but if you look at the previous year, every time City passed someone, they're done.
they're
So I still think
machines.
City is gonna win it. It's too late. I mean, Liverpool is 10 points behind. Leicester is doing well, but I don't see them overcoming that. I mean, sorry, not Liverpool is 10 points behind. Manchester United is 10 points behind Man City. So I mean, that's the second. So I don't think no one is passing City.
I don't think so
That's my
either.
take. February 23rd, 2021. Record that. City is winning the league.
Cemented. It's set. It's already set in
Yeah,
stone.
if someone want to prove me wrong, please be my guest. I'll be happy if it happened. To have someone new win it again. I don't want Manchester United to win it, but it would be good for Leicester, West Ham to win it. The Hammers, a big shout out to my colleague and friend Viz Cadden. He's a Hammers fan, and he always said, Harris, in order to be a Hammers fan, you have to be a chosen one. So yeah. So Patrick, you're getting close to wrap it up here. Last topic of the day. I'll let you introduce it.
So this is from Clarence Seedorf, noted Netherlands international and legend for Milan, by the way.
Not only
He says,
legend for Real Madrid, the
legend for Real
only
Madrid as
player that
well.
has won the Champions League with three different teams, I believe. Madrid, Ajax, and with AC Milan. I
That's
think he's
true.
the only one.
So, having a legendary career, you would think that he'd have more opportunities. And he said recently, he goes and says this. I played 12 years in Italy, and after coaching Milan, despite having done a great job, I received no calls. Holland in my country, yet again, no calls. What are the selection criteria? Why do great champions have no chance in Europe when they wrote pages of football history? So what he's discussing is the lack of opportunities for black coaches and minority coaches in Europe. There's been only 9 minority, specifically black managers in the Premier League history. So I guess the question is this: what is the reason for the lack of opportunities, and what must be done to change it? Harris, I'm going to let you take it first, and then I'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, the reasons, I think there's just not much risk that a lot of team wants to take and give a chance to minority coaches. I mean, those guys have been mostly big players as well, and they need to be most of, I'll say, any minority coaches or black coaches need to be given more chances and to try. Um, it's and you look at the top teams in the world, top soccer teams. You want to see a minority coach leading those top teams. The only one I can recall is Frank Rijkaard, all the way back in 2003 to 2008, when he was coach of Barcelona. And he did successfully well. But after that, he went to Galatasaray for a year, and then he finished in Saudi Arabia. I mean, this is a coach that has a excuse me, track proven record with a club like Barcelona, who took them back from being second under Real Madrid back to the top. I mean, he had Rivaldo, Sevilla, Ronaldinho at the time, Samuel Eto'o. That was the team of Deco, Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho, and Nilsson. Uh, that was a fantastic team right before Guardiola came, and they won a Champions League in 2006. So it's surprising that he hasn't been anywhere. And the other one was probably Gullit, his countrymate, who was also a coach. I think he coached Chelsea, coached several team in the UK, but that was a long time ago. And then he was recently assistant manager coach for the Netherlands. Seedorf tried. He tried with AC Milan. He was not successful. We have to admit it. But that's true. Since then, he never got any chance. Again, with a big team. I think he went to La Coruña
Yeah,
as
he
a coach as
did.
well, but he was not successful. Right. So he was not successful there. So, and then he went to Cameroon, and we have to admit it, he was not successful with Cameroon as well. Despite everything we can say, actually, maybe I don't know if he won the champions. I mean, the African Cup of Nations with Cameroon. Gee, analogy, and I'm saying it
I think I think what happened was this. I think he was the coach up until the
after, right?
I think he was after, because I don't remember him winning.
Yeah,
I don't
because I
remember him
remember.
winning AFCON with them.
I don't think so as well, because I think he was either he was let go before or he came after. I can't quite remember. But yeah, so but I understand his point. Like Patrick Vieira was like one of the last coach that did pretty well, and those are legends. Like Thierry, he was a coach of Monaco, but he didn't do well, and now he's back in Montreal, and that also because of Thierry's name, because of his long-standing career. That's what he got the position. And to the example we were talking about right before the call, if you take someone like me, and let's say I was, as a starting a coaching career track, but I never really played professionally, would I have be given a chance? I'm not quite sure. So they need to be more diversity into the soccer world, and the team need to take more risk, but so that we can see what the minority coach can really do. That'll be my take on it. Maybe there's a program that need to be set I don't usually like program because when he force things to be in the type of quarter. But overall, if that's the way it has to be for coaches to have chances, yeah, why not try? I usually like letting the market dictate things, but it doesn't. As of right now, you don't really see any, minority coaches being given a chance.
You don't. And the problem is this: they did implement a system similar to the Rooney Rule that they have in the NFL, which in the Premier League, there's a rule that requires them to interview at least one minority, applicant. But the problem is this: I understand the frustration from Seedorf, but I have a couple perspectives from it. Number one, at this point, I think the reason that there's maybe not as many opportunities for him specifically is just based on a lack of success. But I think the other thing is, has how many of them has there been a lot of people has there been a lot of like star players that have been showing a significant amount of interest in coaching? I don't see someone like Eto having shown that much interest. If Eto, for example, was going to say he wanted to be an applicant, there's no doubt in my mind that Cameroon would take him. And again,
Yeah, but again, we're talking about Cameroon coaches, right? But that was not the point. But I mean, me being from Togo, I can let you know straight up. There are a lot of African countries, sorry, that are picking, European coaches or whatever over countries
exactly.
to represent them. They don't even pick some African coaches, and rights are different. Some of the coaches did not perform well when they were there, but they were never really given a chance because there's a lot of expectation for result, and especially for national teams. I mean, the results are very short. You don't work with those teams for a long period of time. Your players come, you prepare them for a game, they play, and they leave, right? So
Hmm.
you don't really develop players like you are. That's what they call them in France. You're the select team, right? You're not strictly a coach. Or maybe a manager. Like the select team. That's the best name you can put it. Basically, selector, or however you want to define it, because they just select players. They don't develop them. So it's tough for a country manager to really be given the time to really develop players and put his system in place.
And that's the
It's two
thing.
different strategy.
The problem is too is you're looking at it and it's like, okay, you're given a short leash, especially being an international manager. If I'm managing, say, the USA, or I'm managing, I'll give you an example, say Nigeria. If I'm managing Nigeria, I know I'm going to have a very, very short leash. And the fact of the matter is, okay, even if they get the opportunity, I feel like a lot of these minority managers don't get maybe as much of a longer leash. And one of the reasons is this: I think it's just that what Clarence is saying is that there's not that initial opportunity. I think that if upon that initial opportunity, that as long as there was some level of success, the assumption would be that, okay, you would be able to get something even if, towards the end of the tenure it didn't go well. But I think the problem is it's like a one strike you're out type of situation. It's not, we look at, say, someone like David Moyes or Hodgson, guys in the past that, have been, let go of certain positions, but have always been able to get another job. Part of what being, a veteran manager is being able to get that. I think the complaint is for someone like Clarence, okay, I understand not having that much success, but even then, I would still think that there would be a level to get a job with at least a lower level side in eredivisie. And okay, with Thierry Henry, okay, fair. He didn't do that well with Monaco. But maybe this is an opportunity in and of itself with both Henry and Vieira. Could the MLS be that launching pad for minority managers to get their, feet wet into the ocean, into sea, and get that opportunity and springboard it?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe that's the
I would agree.
opportunity.
Well, Vieira's already done it, and he did it with Manchester City. But again, these are coming back because those players are big names. And you tell me it's the same thing for Pirlo as well. He would have never got the position
Absolutely.
at Juve if it wasn't Pirlo, as a first job. So your name carry you very far. I think what Seedorf is arguing for is not only that, is like he's not getting chance
Greece or
in
is
the Netherlands,
somebody.
that is his own
Yeah.
country. Not even Greece. Those are far. Like, what about the
I'm just saying,
Netherlands?
like, not like the highest level of competition, but
But that doesn't matter. I won't even, not to you, but like I won't even consider the Netherlands as a highest level of competition
they
either,
aren't.
right?
Not at all.
Exactly, and that's his country. He has played for how long with the national team, has won everything. I mean, he's one of the most decorated player in the Netherlands,
Exactly.
but
So
he's not even given a chance, even in second division of the Netherlands. FC Utrecht would have caught them, or I'm not even saying Feyenoord or Rotterdam or the other club, but he was not given a chance. So I think that's the point he's trying to make, and maybe that's where it starts, because a lot of players that are international big teams, like Vieira was given a chance with Nice. He did okay. He just got recently let go, but he did okay. Maybe that's how we should start. Start in your own country and be given a chance, and then you go up the rank. That's usually how things goes. Or you start from your former club, like what Seedorf did actually with AC Milan. And he didn't do terribly, but I guess maybe I think it's the perception of the owner as well, right? Or the sporting director. What type of value do they give to minority coaches? I think that's kind of how it is too. Because in France, for example, I'll take the example of Antoine Comboire, that is coach for FC Nantes right now. He was coach of Paris Saint Germain. He's been, I think, as African, or as a black coach, he's been one of the who has the longest tenure, I believe, right now, at least in the French Premier League, in the La Liga. He coached through Paris. He coached Toulouse. He's recently been coach of Nantes. Like I think he coached Cangon at some point. Like he get a lot of jobs. So he established himself. So which is great. He was a former player as well. He played for Paris, so he's pretty well known. But that's pretty much him. I think Makelele is coaching a team in Belgium right now. So the coaches have to go fish in lower level countries, but we need to admit as well, it's a very competitive world to be a coach. It's
that's
it's
true.
not easy. It's a very competitive world. So there's a lot of proven records that need to be established, and you have to show success, which is hard. But sometimes club could not afford to lose some players. I mean, sorry, to lose some points in the league. So they need guaranteed success. So it will take a risk if they really know you and they believe. But I think maybe to your point is in the interview process. How do you give someone an opportunity to have a shot to present his idea at least? That's I'm not part of that overall ecosystem, but maybe that's where there's some opportunity.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a thing that needs to be changed. Is there needs to be ultimately an idea of, okay, let's at least have them come to mind. At least be like, sheesh, okay, let me at least think of this player or this assistant or somebody. At least have them come to mind, and not, I'm going to say, not courtesy, but at least have them give the opportunity of, okay, let's give them an interview and see what they can do. Um, so again, hopefully we'll see some changes. We've seen substantially, I think, a higher consciousness of the issues of minorities in both British and world football, and hopefully we'll see something change. But that's kind of our little 2 cents on it. You
Exactly,
know,
exactly. Yeah, it's good to. I think those are good topic that we don't really talk about a lot, they're more addressed in the U.S. in most of the U.S. sports, but
Hmm.
not in Europe. And I think this is good that these topics are coming. I'm glad Seedorf brought it up. Maybe that will open eyes to people. Maybe there's something we call unconscious bias, right? And now that Seedorf is bringing it up, maybe that will open some people consciousness.
Oh,
So it's good. It's good. I think those discussions are very good.
I do too. So for those that don't know, this is Patrick, and we've got Harris as well. Please remember, subscribe to Foreign Football Pod on all social media channels and on YouTube as well. Thank you from my side. Harris, any other closing
Thank you.
remarks to our audience?
Thank you guys for listening to us. It's always a pleasure. Please submit your question, content you want us to discuss as well. Again, we try to bring you the soccer news or football news. Sorry, I think I'm becoming too American now. Football news that touch all topics around the world. So if you have any questions, suggestions, feel free to let us know. Stay tuned, and always is a pleasure and joy to dissect some football news. My boy Patrick, always a pleasure, brother.
Absolutely. Same here as well, Harris. Thank you again, pal.
Likewise. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.